Mass video. Today we're going to talk a bit about the Lorelei Cloyster that's dropping tonight on Reset, which we will be pulling for live as usual, unfortunately this time when it drops. So make sure y'all are subscribed, have notifications on to tune in when that happens. So far our pulls this month have been pretty fantastic, but on the other hand, this month has 6 new units to pull for, so hopefully these last 2 don't screw it over too bad. So anyways, let's get into the unit. So basically it's a support, it's a physical support, right? On both ends. Gives your team physical attack, it gives your team physical defense as well, right? And also buffs, crit as well. Gives, team endurance, right? As protect is just, got a lot of those defensive capabilities. On top of that, it does have, pretty solid defensive stats. The HP is not anything crazy, but, it's not terrible either. It does have mediocre speed. I need to turn that off because that's my alarm for going to that's my bedtime alarm, except I never go to bed at that time. I always go like 3 hours later. Anyways, all right, so as for some passives, as no quarter, which makes it so that the icicle spear hits 5 times in a row. She's not going to be outputting too much damage, right? But it's just nice that it's guaranteed to hit 5 times in a row, so it's longer animation time, you get more gauges back, right? Which is something. And then on top of that, you also have recharging strike and restoring strike 4 and 2, so you could also get some gauges back. Hopefully with every single hit that you do on icicle spear, there's a 50% chance of getting a gauge back. And then a restoring strike 2, which is the same thing except for healing, 30% over there, right? So those are pretty nice. In terms of the grid, or not grid, in terms of how many copies you want to pull for, right? If you're just pulling for 1 copy, it's all right. I mean, you get the the thing about only having 1 out of 5 for this unit is you can't really max out any like a physical attack or crit, right? You're just stuck at or defense, right? +4, +2, +4, right? On each of these, which is like the slight issue at 1 out of 5, right? But if you do decide to go for a 2nd copy, then that unlocks all of that, right? You get that NPR on your training move for the, although it's 1 MP based, but still, for the chance to max out your team's crit and defenses. And then you also have NPR on X attack all as well. And on top of that, you also get Fleet Feet, which is nice. Right, you have tripping strike 1. This is the same thing, based on how many hits. Every single hit, 20% chance of debuffing opponent's speed, right? And then you got some other hail stuff, which is whatever, honestly. Emergency barrier is also kind of whatever. And then move gauge refresh, revenge boost as well, right? So 2 out of 5, you do get some gauge stuff, and the NPRs, which I'd say is kind of important. So I definitely say 2 out of 5 is a big improvement over 1 out of 5. And then 3 out of 5 you get stuff like punishing strike, which is defense debuffs, right? It's Dojo Gloria, but like half of that and only 20% effective. or yeah, whatever. It's well, it's not even like half, it's like a third, and it's just like it's what's the Walmart of Walmarts? Of Dojo Gloria, basically. Then yeah, vigilance up here. You got healthy healing as well. Initial synchro healing. Got Team Mighty Sync 9, right? First aid 4, shielded 1. 3 out of 5. It gives you a lot of really great stuff, right? Honestly, like the defense debuffs, the gradual heals itself. Got vigilance, obviously, right? The physical move up next. Healing for yourself, your team, all that stuff. More, defense. At least this guarantees your max defense buffs, right? So yeah, you have a lot of really great stuff at 3 out of 5. So yeah, this is definitely a unit that would benefit quite a bit from having more copies, right? So now for lucky skills, really depends, right? I mean, you could always pick up vigilance if you don't have her at 3 out of 5, or if you do have her 3 out of 5, picking up vigilance as a lucky skill frees you up some energy to pick other stuff. Right, same thing with healthy healing, even though she has it, right? You could just pick it up and save 10 energy, basically. But yeah, all the other regular stuff that applies for supports are always nice. Just do keep in mind, defense crush, if you do roll defense crush on her, it's not like, it's no quarter, 5 times to proc defense. No, it's only just 1 chance to proc defense crush. So yeah, there's that to consider. But yeah, otherwise just your usual suspects: interference immunity, status immunity, all that stuff. If you want not fleet feet, fast track, that could be alright as well. Any of the guards, if you're facing any specific stage, right, or any of the, immunity, so all that other stuff, right? Head start, adrenaline, if you're syncing with her, those are, again, just your common suspects, right? That's generally, I'd say, for master mode, but also depends on the team, but yeah. As for the grid, so starting out at 1 out of 5, obviously you can pick up everything if you want, but if you're missing out on stuff, just pick up like all the non-attack stat nodes, basically. And Snow Shelter isn't like that big of a deal, but just get that extra special defense. But otherwise, just pick everything up. 2 out of 5. Again, you do have a lot of options here. I honestly would not really go for this NPR on the trainer move. Like, even though, you can max a crit, but like in that case, I'd really just run her on a team that at least has +1 crit buff for their main damage dealer, because like banking on an NPR 2 on a 1 base MP move is just tough, right? That's a tough sell. But otherwise, you can pick up all this other stuff, right? Natural remedy is always nice. Well, I wouldn't say always nice, but nice, very, very nice in certain scenarios. Renita Fleet Feet's good, right? NPR on that is really, really nice. And then as for the rest, you go for the Tripping Strike. I'd personally prefer going the route with the more speed buffs, but it's dependent on you as well, right? As for anything else, maybe the Icicle Spear move gauge refresh, I guess. Revenge boost. That's something you can pick up. And then for the rest, I'd probably just go for HP / one of the defenses, depending on what stage you're fighting. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty standard. I really wouldn't go too different from this, right? Yeah, like this is just very, very, very niche, right? But anyways, yeah, something like that. For 3 out of 5, we got, again, a lot more options. Again, a lot of this really depends on what lucky skill you ran on her, right? Like, for example, if you didn't run Vigilance on her, you could definitely just go up here and pick up Vigilance. And if you need this, you could pick this up. I wouldn't care too much about this unless you really absolutely need it against just an incredibly strong physical stage, right? But I'd probably pick up something like Healthy Healing. Punishing Strike and Tripping Strike, they are nice, but they are also slightly costly. But if you, for example, if you're on a team that doesn't need that extra NPR, which there's not really that many units that need +6 physical attack, at least nowadays, right? So you could do something like this. Could be just a really, really general thing. If you do have her EX, right, where you could sync with her, or, well, you could sync with her without being EX, but you get the extra thing. Team Mighty Sync and Initial Synchro Healing are pretty nice too. So you could probably go down there in favor of that. And this is where running Vigilance on her is actually really legit option as a lucky skill, so you don't have to go all the way up there and waste all that energy. And then instead you could just pick up other stuff, like, again, just the Punishing Strike, Tripping Strikes, all that stuff. Still pick up Revenge Boost if you want over here, or you could go down that other route with the Fleet Feet stuff if you just need more gauges rather than the more offensive stuff, right? There's just a lot of gauges things that you could go for. And again, a lot of the other stuff just really depends on what you need, right? It's supports, they're just, what you build on them really depends on the stage you're facing and what units you're trying to support, right? So, as for some pros and cons, starting from the pros, she's a good physical support, right? The physical offensive buffs, defensive buffs, all that stuff. You do have the crit buff as well, but again, it's not really easy to max out. But you do also have like decent gauges. First of all, your Icicle Spear is hitting 5 times, and every single time you have a 50% chance to get a gauge back, right? And there's even more gauge options on the crit if you really want to go crazy, right? Fleet Feet, Revenge Boost 2, like the move gauge refresh stuff, right? Hasty Hail, like if you really want to make her go crazy on the speed chart, she could definitely do that. And then outside that, you also got a lot of the healing stuff, personal heals, but team heals, like team initial synchro healing one. It's only on the first tank, but still, right? There's something. And then it's a pretty good tank. You got the physical, at least physically, right? Although she's not like terrible special, she just doesn't have any special defensive buffs. But you still have a lot of the healing stuff, right? And protect that could help you as well. So yeah, but more of a physical tank. And then she does have decent debuffs, even though the rates look pretty bad. It's like 20% for each both of those debuffs. But it's like every single icicle spear you have like 5 chances, right? So I'd say like at least 1 of each on average, right? Every icicle spear is not unreasonable. So yeah, those are some of the pros. As for some cons, the first one's like no EX outfit, so like if you do EX her, which by the way, she is definitely worth EXing, right, with the initial synchro healing and Team Mighty sync, right, but also a support. But no EX outfit, that one kind of sucks, I guess, right? And outside of that, although I do kind of understand it, just because like it's what, like 6 units this month, so like the amount of like EXs, if they had to like EX everyone, that would be just imagine the amount of workload if they had to give an EX outfit to every single unit that EX this month, which is like about like 50 units. I don't even know. But like on the other hand, like I don't mind them. Again, it is my personal opinion, right? I don't mind them not giving them the EX outfits, but like, all right, put them in like the general pool or something. I just don't get this variety scout thing. I think it's pretty dumb, personally. But yeah, anyways. Outside of that, it is tough to max out the crit, right? I mean, 1 MP on a MPR2, that's tough, right? And then the special defense, again, it's not like you can't tank special hits at all because of all the healing and protect and all that stuff that you get. But ultimately, you don't really have too much in terms of just raw special defensive, like, tanking capabilities, right? You don't have any special defensive buffs, and your special defense stat is not bad, but it's not like anything like insane either. So I guess that's probably one of the downsides over there. So I wrote pros here. Now people are gonna think I'm actually pro like bad special defensive attacks to be cons. Whoops. Anyways. I mean, overall, look, it's not a very exciting unit, just because, like, it's boring, let's be real, it's a boring unit, right? Like, first of all, it's hard to make supports, like, super hype, I guess, for your, average player. Like, I don't think, like, people just don't find supports fun to play with, which, I personally disagree, but yeah, I feel like, that's probably what most people think, right? So, okay, sure, I'll concede that point. It's boring, but I mean, it doesn't do anything bad, right? Like, again, if you look at the cons, the no max crit buff thing is, I mean, like, a lot of damage dealers can at least get themselves +1 crit, right? That's not super hard to get. And then the other thing about the special defense, like, it's not even like that bad, right? Just because, like, you make up for it with all the other, like, healings and stuff, protection that you get. So, like, this really, I feel like it's a support without too much downside, right? Not too much downside, and you have a lot of just pure positive upside, right? Like, obviously the physical tanking, that's just pure positive. What else? The gauges back should be really nice as well. And then, debuffs, all that stuff. She is a bit RNG, right? She's definitely a bit RNG. Obviously, punishing, like, all this stuff really depends on how many procs you get on these icicle spears. Look, I feel like average, like, 1 proc per icicle spear on each one of these is like really just good enough. But like, if you just get like no procs, that would be tough. But if you get like more than 1, then that's just amazing, I'd say. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it is a bit RNG, I guess. I forgot to put that in the cons, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was a bit too obvious, right? But outside of that, yeah, I just got the physical move up next, all that stuff. It's just a solid, down to the earth, good blue collar, 500 support, right? So yeah, anyways, in terms of pulse score, I'd probably give it like a 5.7 out of 10. Again, nothing super fancy. It's not something that jumps off the chart, like, that it's, oh, look at this new thing. No, it's doing absolutely nothing new. It's just a good, solid, reliable support. Well, semi-reliable. The actual reliable support is the next one. We'll talk about that one in a few days. But yeah, it's alright. It's just regular. It's good, right? supports in general are good, right? It's really, really hard to screw up a support, to make a support be like a net negative, right? Like even something like the previous Lyra, or the Team Rocket Lyra, yeah, I mean, it has some capabilities that are not very desirable, gauges issues, the team comp issues, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's still support, right? And in, I'd say, most generic, your legendary gauntlet runs, supports that could at least take a few hits are always just very, very, very welcome, and Lorelei is just one of those, right? And yeah, again, she's not even like bad. Talk about her like she's like whatever. She's not. It's like she's just nice. It's just that like the variety scout thing is cringe, which I personally don't like. But I mean, I guess that's more of a personal opinion thing. But anyway, I mean, this entire like my entire existence is a personal opinion. All right. So, anyways. That's me with this one, I guess. Hope y'all let me guys think, blah, 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 blah. I can't even, when was the last time I actually properly, like, speed ran my outro, like, correctly without screwing anything up? Alright, let's try that again. That's me with this one, I guess. Hope y'all enjoyed. Guys, think in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel for some more Poem Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one, then. Good luck with the polls.